The planet Novus Reach was quiet. Its skies were always soft shades of gold and blue. Twin suns warmed the farmlands. Children laughed in the valley towns. Elderly colonists told stories of old Earth beside crystal rivers. There were no armies. Here, no weapons, no military secrets, just peace. And then came fire. The first strike without warning. Alarms screamed. At 4:17 planetary time, a bright flash lit up the sky above Ravenhollow, Novus Reach's largest city. 1 second it was there. Next it was gone. Ash rained where buildings once stood. Heat turned soil to glass. Thousands died without a single word. The colonists didn't even know who attacked from orbit. A massive alien fleet hovered, black ships, shaped like knives, their hulls glowing with red light. They were Zarkathi, an aggressive race known for fast strikes and brutal tactics. Their command ship transmitted one short message to their fleet: no survivors, burn it clean. And so they did. The second wave, as Novus Reach tried to understand what was happening, more ships descended. Entire cities, Juno's End, Iron Lake, Feldmore, were vaporized. The colony's defense satellites tried to fight back. They were old, outdated, barely functional. They never fired a single shot. One Zarkathi destroyer fired a plasma burst so large it cut across 40 kilometers of land. Tens of thousands more died, and still, Earth had not responded. The emergency signal, a young technician named Alara Wren managed to reach the deep field Kumaré, hidden in the mountains of Ember Ridge. Her arm was broken, her uniform burned, but she forced the controls online. Blood dripped from her nose as she hit the emergency beacon. "This is Novus Reach," she whispered, "under attack. Civilians dying. No defense. Please, send help." The signal shot into deep space. It would take 6 minutes to reach Earth. The Zarkathi command picked up the transmission. Almost instantly they turned a cruiser toward Ember Ridge. Alara saw it in the sky, like a black dagger cutting through clouds. She sat in the snow, eyes locked on the screen as the last light of the transmitter blinked. "Please." Then the world above her lit up white. And then darkness. Earth receives the signal in Earth's orbit. Far above the planet's surface, a black satellite suddenly blinked to life. Its name, Sentinel-9. Inside. No crew. Just code. And one purpose. The signal from Novus Reach entered its core. It decrypted, confirmed, and ran a hidden subroutine. Then the satellite sent a laser-thin transmission to Earth's surface destination. Vault 0. Vault 0. Deathworld protocol facility beneath the surface of Antarctica, buried under kilometers of ice. Sat a sealed chamber. No lights. No sound. Just silence for 600 years. It had never been opened until now. The signal hit the chamber's core. The walls shook. Ice cracked. Ancient turbines powered on. A voice echoed from the deep metal halls. "Emergency protocol. Novus Reach compromised. Civilian deaths confirmed. No military installations present. Violation Article 9 of Terran Accord." Then came the words that would change the galaxy. Deathworlder protocol. Unlocked. What is a Deathworlder? Earth had always been known as a Class 5 Deathworlder planet, so dangerous. Only the strongest species could survive it. Storms that tore buildings apart, animals that killed with a glance, microbes that melted organs, a gravity field so intense most aliens couldn't walk upright. The beings that came from Earth were different over the centuries. As humanity evolved and advanced, they created a secret project. Not soldiers, not diplomats, not scientists, but weapons shaped like humans. They were called Deathworlders. Frozen in cryochambers, locked beneath Earth's crust, only to be awakened when Earth faced an attack it could not forgive. And now one of them would awaken. Awakening of Unito 5. Inside a black pod, deep in Vault 0, systems hummed. Cryo Unito 5 lit up. A human floated inside, tall, scarred, muscle layered like steel. His eyes moved first, then his heart rate rose, then the chamber cracked open. He gasped once. No screams, no confusion, just stillness. A screen in front of him lit up. It showed Novus Reach before and after. He watched the footage. The destruction, the silence, the end of peace. He didn't blink. Then came the voice. Designation Unito 5. Codename Wraith. Orders. Track responsible party. Response level. Termination. Civilian death count. 1.2 million confirmed. Unito 5 stood. His voice was rough. From years of sleep. 1 colony. 1 million. No cause. They will not do this again. Earth's last defense around the planet. Satellites reoriented. Codes were unlocked. Deep space tracking stations activated. Earth didn't launch a fleet. Earth didn't call for allies. It sent one ship. Suspense ending. The ship that shouldn't exist at a hidden launch site on the moon. A hangar opened for the first time in 400 years. Inside sat a ship that wasn't on any registry. No name, no model, no identification codes. It looked alive, its armor shifting like liquid metal. Engines glowing with a soft blue hue. Unito 5 stepped aboard. No crew joined him. No words were spoken, only the soft sound of the ramp rising. And the ship, lifting off into space. Control towers tried to log its signature. There was nothing, no beacon, no return code, no transponder. Only one internal tag flickered once before vanishing. Deathworlder Class Ghost 1. Target Zarkathi. High command, and just like that, Earth became silent again, but the galaxy began to shake. The planet Zarkathi Prime was brutal. Acid storms boiled the skies, its red surface cracked with volcanic fire. The Zarkathi had built their cities into the rock-massive black towers with jagged walls and glowing domes. War was their religion, and after destroying Novus Reach, their leaders celebrated. Admiral Kaver stood at the edge of the fortress balcony, looking down at soldiers marching in perfect formation. Behind him, glowing screens replayed the destruction of the human colony. Thousands of Zarkathi cheered. Earth is weak, Kaver said. They will complain. Send words, maybe throw 1 or 2 ships. They don't fight unless pushed. The generals laughed, but one technician, silent, pale, rushed into the room. Sir, he said, we have a problem. A new signal appears. The room fell quiet. Explain, Kaver snapped. The technician pulled up a star map. One ship was coming out of jump near Zarkathi orbit. No signature, no species code, no ID. Sensor malfunction. One general asked. No, the technician whispered. This isn't a glitch. The ship is cloaked, but not fully. It wants us to see just enough. Kaver leaned forward. What class? The technician hesitated, then spoke. It's not in our database. The ship that shouldn't exist. In orbit above Zarkathi Prime, the mysterious ship hovered silently. Dark metal shifting hull. Engine glow barely visible, but something was wrong. The Zarkathi had millions of ships in their database, but this one, it didn't match any known Terran design. It looked almost alive. Kaver ordered fighters to intercept. Get me visual. Cameras locked on. Inside the cockpit, a single human sat in silence, eyes cold, hands still. No response to hails, no signal, just presence. Zarkathi launched the first Strike 3 interceptor. Wings flew out, fast, aggressive, weapons hot. They formed a triangle around the strange ship. Lock weapons, Kaver ordered. If it moves, destroy it. Then something strange happened. Their systems glitched. Targeting failed. Engines slowed without warning, and then all 3 ships exploded. No flash, no beams. Just sudden black followed by nothing. Ship hadn't moved. It hadn't even turned. Wraith speaks inside the alien palace. The main screen blinked. A message appeared. Connection request. Human origin. Unito 5. Kaver ordered it accepted. The screen turned black. Then the face of Wraith appeared. He said nothing for 5 seconds. Then, calmly, you killed 1.2 million civilians. That colony held no weapons. No soldiers. You attacked without reason. Kaver stood straight. Earth didn't answer when we warned them. We assumed you assumed wrong. Wraith leaned forward, eyes steady. This is not a message of peace. This is a message of ending. You brought death to our people. He paused. Now I return the balance. Then the screen went dark. Zarkathi panic as the sky burns without warning. Zarkathi Prime's defense grid shut down. Missile platforms, laser banks, orbital mines all went silent. Then the sky began to glow. Not from the Terran ship, but from the planet's own orbital stations. Detonating one by one. The ship hadn't fired, it had simply infected their network in seconds. A quiet voice played over the emergency network. This is not war. War has rules. This is justice. Justice that has no limits. Evacuations begin to let Zarkathi leaders rush to private shuttles. Za. Vor grabbed his personal blade and stormed toward the escape lifts. Get us off, he shouted, but every hangar door stayed locked. All exits were sealed. Each ship's core failed to start then. From the palace window, he saw it. A dark shape descending. Not a bomb. A man, the Deathworlder Landswraith, landed in the central courtyard. No suit, no armor, no weapons visible. Just his eyes. Guards ran at him. 10 of them. In 3 seconds they were down. 1 broken, 1 stunned. The rest crawling away in fear. Kaver watched from the balcony above. He aimed his plasma rifle and fired. Shot struck Wraith's chest and fizzled. His armor absorbed it silently. Wraith looked up, then jumped 40 meters high and landed in front of Kaver like a shadow. Kavior dropped his weapon. You're not human, he whispered. Wraith stared. No, I'm what? That happens when humans are betrayed. The mark is left behind when the smoke cleared. Wraith was gone, so was Admiral Kavo, or so was the Central Command Corps, but left behind. Carved into the black stone of the palace wall was the Terran symbol. 3 stars around a skull. The Deathworlder, mark under it. 1 word, paid. It started as a leak. A short video, just 37 seconds long, appeared across data channels from deep space. It showed 1 human, no armor, walking through burning wreckage of Zarkathi Prime. Not a scratch on him. Dozens of bodies in his path. The Deathworlder symbol, surrounded by 3 stars glowing behind him. The clip ended with 1 word flashing across the screen. Wraith at first. Many thought it was propaganda, a fake dot, but then Zarkathi Prime stopped responding. All communications down. Government silent. Fleet in orbit. Gone. The galaxy froze, and then they remembered the old warnings. What are Deathworlders long ago, before Earth joined the Galactic Council? Rumors spread of Earth's deadliness. Gravity so high it would crush a Zon pilot in minutes. Wild beasts that could kill in silence. water that drowned instead of healed, diseases that adapted faster than medicine. Species that came from such a place were called Deathworlders. Life forms evolved under constant threat. Creatures who did not just survive, they adapted, learned, and dominated. For centuries, most believed humans were just tougher than usual, but not dangerous. Not Deathworld-class. Until now, no one was laughing. Council emergency meeting in the floating chambers above Horus Prime. The Galactic Council met in chaos. Ambassadors shouted. Data flew across screens. Earth must explain this. That human destroyed a capital city alone. Where is their fleet? Why are they silent? Counselor Threk's volume of the Korlax. Empire slammed his clawed hand on the table. This isn't war, it's targeted extinction. But Earth had sent no reply, only silence, and that frightened them most. The message from Earth finally, a signal arrived. One line, no voice, no emotion. This was not an act of war. This was the lawful termination of those who committed civilian genocide. The council room fell into silence. Is this how Earth responds now? Someone whispered. Counselor Threx frowned. If one Deathworlder did this, how many more do they have? Back on Earth, Vault Zero stirs again. Inside Vault Zero, the ice cracked again. A second cryopod lit up. This one read, Unito 7 codename. Ashri Prashis stirred, eyes glowing faintly under flickering red lights. Data streamed into her mind. Novus, reach 1.2 million deaths. Zarkothi Prime. Justice delivered new targets. 6 other high-ranking commander status. Pending removal. She opened her eyes, spoke only once. Activate transport. Burn the trail. Galactic panic begins. 6 other alien worlds had now been linked to the strike on Novus Reach. One of them, Drexery 2, tried to prepare. They doubled their planetary shields, brought in 3 council fleets. They weren't taking chances. But that night, the stars blinked above their capital. A cloud too small to be a ship hovered for only 90 seconds. Then their power grid failed. All systems fell. And in the central command tower, 5 high-ranking officials vanished. Not dead, not injured. Just gone. No signs of struggle. No witnesses. One wall was carved with a glowing mark. Ash Reaper species begin to surrender to avoid being noticed. Some planetary leaders who were involved in the Novus Reach betrayal began surrendering voluntarily. One Drellan admiral handed himself over to Earth's outpost on Elysium 4. A weapons scientist from Evek Station fled to a human colony and begged for asylum. Even mercenaries started to refuse contracts involving Terran targets. Fear had replaced pride because the truth was now clear. Earth wasn't fighting a war. It was cleaning up a mess. And no one knew how many Deathworlders were still asleep or how many had already woken up. The legends resurface on the outer rim. Ancient races, those who had seen Earth's rise centuries ago, spoke softly. One elder that said, when humans stop talking, it means they've already decided. Another whispered, they never forget, and they never forgive. Some remembered stories of the original Deathworlder program. Earth created them during the old Terran Wars, when full AI warfare became too dangerous. Each Deathworlder was genetically optimized, modified to survive everything. Trained not for battle, but for vengeance without negotiation. Suspense ending. One more pod awakens in the final moments of this chapter. Deep inside a forgotten moon base, another cryo chamber hissed open. Lights flickered, dust fell, a tall figure stepped out. Mechanical enhancements along his spine, cold breath in the air. The screen blinked to life. Unito 3 codename target confirmed. Commander Luthen of the Urine Syndicate. Strike time, 19 hours. The figure looked up. Spoke one sentence. Time to bring the hammer down. The galaxy didn't sleep that night. In the deep spiral arm of the galaxy, the powerful Urine Syndicate controlled 5 systems. Known for trafficking weapons, fuel, and even slaves, the Syndicate had always believed in fear over diplomacy. Their high commander, Luthen Sol, leaned back in his gravity throne aboard the capital. Station Zarek 1. His spies had just confirmed something troubling. Zarkothi Prime is no longer transmitting. Drexarii's leadership has gone dark. Council fleets are in full retreat from several sectors. And now an encrypted message had reached his desk. A symbol burned into a satellite near Urine airspace, surrounded by 3 stars. The Deathworlder mark. Commander Luthen snarled. Terrans think fear will make us run, he barked. Let them come. This time we erase Earth's ghosts. The Urine response. Deploy the fleet. Luthen ordered the full deployment of Fleet Group 09, the most elite armada in Urine territory. 87 warships, 14 carriers, thousands of fighters, orbital defense grids set to maximum range. They spread like a metal net across 3 systems, waiting for Earth's ghost ship to arrive. For 5 hours, nothing happened. Then, at 2:13 galactic time, the fleet's forward scout ship went silent. It hadn't sent a distress call, no visual feed, no debris. Just vanished from every sensor. Panic starts at the edge. Admiral Harkin Volume, stationed at the edge of the system, watched in disbelief as ship after ship stopped responding. At first, he thought it was a jamming signal. Then, they started picking up strange pulses, faint, cold, repeating. Not a language, not a weapon, just Sound. Low, like a slow heartbeat, and then, all at once, the second fleet vanished. No fire, no impact, no explosion. 1 second they were there. The next, just dark space. The message appears on every remaining Uran ship. Screens flickered, words scrolled in slow, icy text. This is not war. You have already lost. You were warned. The reckoning continues. In the corner of the screen, the Deathworlder symbol rotated slowly. The Admiral screamed at his techs. Trace it, find it. But the signal wasn't coming from a ship. It was coming from inside the fleet's navigation core. Terran weapon type. Unknown as later only. 6 ships remained from Fleet Group 09. They regrouped near the Helix Cloud, preparing to retreat. Then they detected a mass inside the cloud. At first, they believed it was a broken moon or asteroid, but it moved too smoothly. Then the cloud parted and they saw it a Terran ship, or what looked like one, but its design didn't match any known class. It had no visible weapons, no shields, no ID. Just a single phrase glowing across its hull. Unito 3. One of the Uran captains whispered, "That's not a ship. That's a message." They opened fire. Nothing hit. The beams curved away, like the space around the ship bent. Then the ship pulsed once and all 6 Uran vessels folded in on themselves. Not destroyed. Just crushed into perfect silent cubes. Zarek 1 under threat and now terrified. Commander Luthen activated planetary lockdown. No ships could enter or leave Zarek 1. Satellites were deployed. Massive kinetic cannons loaded. Civilians fled into underground bunkers, but Luthen wasn't done. He sent out a public broadcast. "To the humans, send your ghosts again. We will bury them." Earth did not respond, but something else did happen. Arrives in the quietest hour of night. The lights above Zarek 1 dimmed. Satellites detected a gravitational shift. Not like a moon. More like a collapse in space. Then a massive object entered orbit. Silent, featureless, perfectly black. No signals. No approach vector. Then it opened. Not a weapon. A person. Unito 3 stepped out. Walking on empty air, descending toward the command dome. A trail of pressure rippled through the atmosphere. He didn't fall. He simply moved downward like gravity. Belonged to him. The encounter inside the command center. Luthen Sol stood face to face with Hammerfall. He pulled out a plasma spear, roared. Charged. HAMMERFALL. Didn't move. The spear struck his chest and shattered like glass. The Death stepped forward. Spoke softly. "You signed the order. You paid the killers. You laughed when the colony burned." He raised his hand. No light, no sound, not Luthen's body crumpled, every nerve ending silenced at once. Not death. Disconnection. The aftermath. The next morning, the Syndicate's palace was empty. ZRIK-1's defense grid offline. The 5 systems under Uran control, now unclaimed. Every criminal database was wiped, and floating in space, outside the station, was a cube. Inside it, frozen in stasis, was Luthen Sol, still alive. Unable to move, unable to scream, and carved into the cube. When words are not enough, we send Deathworlders. Suspense ending. The Council's desperate move on the Galactic Council homeworld. Emergency sirens screamed across the sky. Ambassadors ran through the halls. The old Terran file had been unlocked. Deathworlder Act Article 88. Should Earth deploy more than 3 Deathworlders at once, Universal Armistice Protocols must activate. It had been a dead clause for centuries. Now it was real again, and somewhere in the darkness of Earth's moon, a 4th cryopod lit up. UNITO-1 codename Ghostfire status active. In the star system Narluin, home of the Vexery Dominion, the rulers held a press conference. They stood before giant banners. Laughing, mocking, Chancellor Restel of the Vexery looked directly into the camera. His silver scales shimmered under the lights. Behind him, images of Earth's destroyed colonies flickered. "The humans act like gods," he said, smirking. "But they bleed like the rest of us. Let them send their so-called Deathworlders. We are not afraid." The crowd of alien diplomats and media laughed. One reporter asked, "Do you believe Earth will retaliate?" Restel grinned. "I hope they do. We'll put their monsters in cages and display them in the Narluin Grand Zoo." Earth says nothing again. Transmission reached Earth. No one replied. No ships left orbit. No signals were sent. Just silence, but far below Earth's surface. In the deepest layer of Vault 0, a figure stirred. Unito 8, codename Widow. Her chamber cracked open. Her hands were already clenched. A heartbeat steady. Too steady she didn't speak. She just walked toward a black dropship waiting in orbit. Destination: Narluin Prime. NAR. Lu Unprime. Day of celebration. The Vexery prepared for a grand ceremony. Fireworks lit the skies. Their fleets hovered in parade formation. Crowds gathered in massive stadiums to celebrate Vexery Strength Day. Chancellor Restel took the stage. "Our world fears nothing," he declared. "Not Earth, not their shadows. Let them see what courage looks like." That's when the sky cracked. Literally. The arrival of Widowno's ship appeared. Instead, the atmosphere split open like paper tearing in the wind. A hole in the clouds, a soft blue glow. Then she fell. One woman. No armor, no parachute, just falling with calm precision. She landed in the middle of the stadium with a sound like thunder wrapped in silence. No shockwave, just stillness. Every weapon locked on her. She stood in a simple black suit and said nothing. Fire. Restal screamed the command. Hundreds of weapons discharged at once. Lasers, plasma bolts, electric spears, every kind of tech the Vexery had. All struck her. None moved her when the smoke cleared. Widow was still standing. Her eyes burned with faint red light. She lifted one hand, snapped her fingers. 9 minutes of silence. What happened next would be studied by every species for the next 1,000 years. The stadium collapsed inward without an explosion. The Chancellor vanished from the platform. No remains ever found. All military personnel in a 15-kilometer radius dropped unconscious in perfect unison. Vexery fleet ships began drifting, crew asleep, weapons locked in reboot. Every camera recording the event turned to static. Then, a single phrase was burned into every screen. 9 minutes, your empire is over, Widow. And it was. Aftermath of the fall. Later, when the Vexery awoke, they found their command chain gone. Government vaults opened and emptied of weapons. Their star charts erased from all major systems. No deaths, just humiliation. Their power broken without war, and left on the ground where Restor once stood. A single coin carved in Terran steel. On one side, surrounded by 3 stars on the other. Never insult the ones who buried the old galaxy. Other powers begin to collapse when news of the Narluan incident spread. The Karth Dominion deactivated all military fleets within Terran space. The Arakan Syndicate surrendered for systems to Earth's closest allies without a shot. Half the galaxy's mercenary guilds blacklisted any anti-Terran contracts. The word was now everywhere. Deathworlders don't threaten, they end you. Suspense ending. Earth's silent countdown. Back on Earth, in the control room of Vault 0, a silent display showed 5 profiles marked as awake and 3 more were blinking. Pending release. Countdown. 11 hours 1. Technician asked the lead AI, should we alert the council? The AI answered in a calm female voice, no need. They already know, and they're terrified. The screen cut to static. A low hum vibrated through Earth's crust, and in the shadows, 3 more Deathworlders opened their eyes. No matter the species, no matter the network, no matter the system firewall. 3:41 Galactic Standard Time. Every single screen in the galaxy blinked once. Even on isolated colonies, even on ships in deep warp. One message appeared written in basic Terran text. Black background, white letters. You participated in the slaughter. Now, you have been counted. Then below it, a list. Only 11 names. And beside each species ranked last known location and 1 word, marked. Shock hits the council within minutes. Chaos erupted in the Galactic Council chambers. The list included 2 council commanders, a planetary governor, a weapons contractor, a grand arbiter from the Cray Consortium. All had claimed innocence in the Novus Reach attack. Now Earth had exposed them and sentenced them. Ambassadors shouted. A few demanded an apology from Earth, but Earth didn't respond, because Earth hadn't sent the message. The Deathworlders had. First disappearance. The first name on the list. Tros Malek, former strategist of Zakathi operations. He was found missing 2 hours later from a secure deep space station guarded by 5,000 troops. Surveillance footage showed no entry breach, no signal disruptions, no signs of struggle. Just 1 blink of static. And then his quarters were empty. On the wall, burned into titanium plating, was the symbol, surrounded by 3 stars. 01 Ghost Fear second mark. On the list, Selix Mar Cray Arbiter Shea was a master of political manipulation, long known to hide behind treaties and forged evidence. She laughed when the list appeared. I'm not a soldier, she said to the press. Earth has no proof. She fled to a council safe zone orbiting a neutron star. Nothing could survive unannounced travel near it. Nothing except something already there. 6 hours later, the station's emergency crew found her chamber, locked. From inside, steel walls melted inward. No power breach. In her chair sat a silver coin, the message etched in it, even in silence. We reach you. Third mark. The betrayer of Valorantius' name shook Earth's old allies. Zari Talon, ambassador of the Saren Blocky, had smiled during the council debates after the Valorans were wiped out. He had denied the vote to aid Earth's only true friends. Now, he was marked. He tried to hide in a Depochin research station on Yar RT Hun-5. The base was 40 kilometers beneath toxic pressure zones, thought unreachable. But then, the crew woke to find their station silent. Doors sealed. Cameras showed nothing. Then, at exactly 0 o'clock local time, the main screen played a 4-second loop. A figure in a black suit walking through water. No mask. Number lights. Just 2 glowing eyes in the dark. The footage ended with 1 frame. Zari Talon gone. The room left behind was marked only by 1 word. Balance. The list keeps moving. By the end of the 3rd day, 5 names were already crossed off. No one saw it happen. No one heard it. They just vanished. Each time same pattern. No destruction. No collateral damage. No demands. Only silence. And 1 Terran mark. Now the rest of the list had become the galaxy's most feared group. Governments withdrew their protection. Factions turned on each other to avoid suspicion. Even family members of the marked began fleeing worlds because the message was clear. If your name is on the list, no army will stop what comes for you. The fifth awakening back on Earth. The AI overseeing Vault Zero stirred once again. Another pod opened. Unit-04. Codename HOLOW. He was tall, hooded, scarred across one side of his face, his eyes dull, lifeless. Until they weren't. He walked past the others, spoke nothing but his mission loaded into the air around him. Target, High Executor Thale of the Zinther Cartel charges, authorized tactical nuke on Novus. Reach out. Zone civilian death estimate, 120,000 status. Mark. Then Hollow entered a silent stealth drop pod no one saw at launch. The next time the Zinther Cartel checked on their leader, they found only the scent of burnt ozone in a room reduced to carbon. One line scratched into the floor. Debt paid. Galaxy holds its breath now. All species once proud, once powerful, were watching in horror. They had built weapons, fleets, treaties. They believed in politics. Installing Earth had built something else. Judgment, memory, quiet vengeance that didn't speak, didn't forgive now. No one trusted the Council. No one trusted each other. Only one rule existed. If you're wrong Earth, you will be found. Suspense ending. A second list. As systems across the galaxy scrambled to protect those remaining, another signal leaked into the data nets, encrypted, faint, hard to trace. Then the message appeared on hidden black market networks. This is not the only list. The first was for the guilty. The second is for those who stood and watched. No one knew who was on it yet, but across thousands of planets, thousands of leaders couldn't sleep. On the gleaming capital world of Horus Prime, the Galactic Council stood surrounded by luxury, power, and pride. Massive halls, floating towers, stars reflected in their crystal windows. Despite the chaos in the galaxy, they still believed they were untouchable. Councillor Vel Rethan stood in the high chamber, claws tapping on stone. All this panic over ghost soldiers, he scoffed. We are the law. Earth must respect it. Councillor Urathar, a reptilian diplomat from the Union, nodded. They are few. We are billions. Behind them, holograms of the Deathworlders strikes played on loop one by one. Zakarthi, Prime, Zarek 1, Narlu and Yathan 5 destroyed silently with precision. And yet, the Council dismissed it. Terror tactics, they called it. Human emotion, nothing more. But below their feet, inside the foundations of the Council Tower, something ancient was already moving. Earth sends a final message for the first time since Novus Reach burned. Earth sent a direct transmission. The message was short. No video, no name, just text. You were warned. You gave the order. You will now face the consequences. This is not war. This is conclusion. The Council responded with silence. Then Councillor Velrathan ordered Earth's transmission blacklisted across the system. If we ignore them long enough, he said, they will stop. The first shadow appears at 3:17, just past the second moonrise over Horus Prime. A patrol drone lost contact over Sector 12 near the base of the Council Tower. No alarm was triggered. A second drone sent to investigate vanished as well. Still, no military was deployed. It wasn't until the central atmospheric shield flickered for less than 0.3 seconds that security noticed something was wrong. But by then, it was too late. Deathworld, a codename the lowest level of the Council complex. Light sensors detected a temperature drop. Doors that hadn't opened in 300 years hissed quietly, and from the shadows stepped a new Deathworlder, his designation. Unit 06, codename Phantom Mission. Councillor Vel Rethan, architect of the vote that led to Novus Reach. No camera caught his arrival. No scanner marked his presence. He simply appeared as if the darkness had grown teeth. The Council begins to break. A silent alarm reached the chamber. Security breach level 0. Vel Rethan stared. That level doesn't exist anymore. Councillor Ura whispered. Then, why did it just open? Suddenly, the walls shook, not from explosives, but from inside the air-changing pressure, the kind that came before a predator entered the room. The lights go out one by one. The golden lamps that floated above the chamber dimmed. Emergency lights. Kicked-in guards rushed to their stations. Elite drones flew to the roof, but no one could see the attacker then. One of the guards pointed there. He shouted. Too late. Phantom emerged behind him, moved like smoke, and pressed his hand to the soldier's armor. The man froze, collapsed without a sound. The Deathworlder moved forward step by silent step, and the chamber froze. Councillor Vel tries to flee. Panicked, Velrethon opened a war portal to a hidden shuttle. He ran boot slamming against marble, but as he entered the docking bay, he saw something that made his heart stop. His shuttle's engine was gone, not exploded, removed, placed gently on the floor. In front of it stood Phantom. His voice came low, almost a whisper. You wrote the order, you called the vote, and you thought no one remembered. Velrethan raised his claws. I had no choice. The Council forced my hand. Phantom didn't move. Earth doesn't care why. Earth remembers who. One shot and silence outside the chamber. Those who listened heard one sharp pulse like air collapsing. Then nothing. Minutes later, a single drone entered the shuttle bay. All it found was a ring of ash. And beside it, a piece of paper. Actual. Paper Tarun ancient. Written in ink. Justice doesn't speak. It arrives. Counselor Yura breaks back in the tower. Counselor Yura locked herself inside her private chamber. She activated every barrier. Oxygen walls, drone guards, defense turrets. She knelt before her gods, cried, prayed. Then a soft chime rang from her data dashpad. A message flashed, not from Earth, from Phantom. You were warned. The lights dimmed. Yura screamed. No one ever found her. Only her pendant remained. Into the floor. The galaxy shakes by dawn. 5 council members were gone. No explosions. No resistance. Just erasure. The high tower remained standing, but inside it was hollow. Messages poured in from across the stars. What does Earth want? Can we surrender? Are we next? But Earth still said nothing. Only one signal came, played across every data network. A voice synthetic.com, female. The Deathworlder protocol remains active. Further resistance will result in final enforcement. Do not seek mercy, seek responsibility. And the message ended with a single word pulsing on every star map. Ending. Suspense. Ending. The last awakening begins in Vault 0. Alarms began to hum for the first time in centuries. Not danger, not attack, but activation. A massive door opened, far below the other pods. Inside it was a chamber never meant to be opened. Cryofluid hissed. A label glowed. UNITOO codename, Oblivion A. Heartbeat echoed once. Twice. Then the figure opened his eyes, and Earth whispered to the stars. This time it ends. The galaxy held its breath. Council worlds were in lockdown. Pirate factions vanished. Former enemies of Earth, now allies, out of fear scrambled to send apologies. But Earth didn't answer. Not a word, because it wasn't Earth speaking anymore. It was Oblivion inside. Vault 0. The final pod deep beneath Earth's crust, in a chamber made of black steel and reinforced gravity walls. The final cryopod cracked open. This one was different. Older, larger, covered in warning signs from lost languages. The lights dimmed across the base as the system rerouted power. One phrase blinked on every monitor. UNITOO, codename, Oblivion. Warning. Do not deploy. Why? He stepped out slowly. Not a soldier, not an assassin. He was something more. Built during Earth's darkest age, and locked away by humanity itself. No one had seen him in action. No one even remembered his real name. Only one thing was known. He was created in case Earth ever needed to end a war with no survivors. Mission: erase the route. His instructions were simple. A single line of Terran code downloaded into his mind. Remove the source of the chain. Do not leave it standing. The chain was the Galactic Council. The order was erasure. Arrival above Council space. The moment Oblivion's warship left Earth's orbit, it vanished from every detection system. It didn't use engines. It didn't emit heat. It didn't make sound. One moment it was near Mars. The next, it was above Horus Prime Council homeworld. Massive, planetary shields activated. Dozens of fleets surrounded the atmosphere. All weapons locked on a space that looked empty. Then, a message appeared on their screens. Your chain ends now. And the sky turned black. The fall of Horus Prime. The first sign was the stars. They disappeared. A field of shadow spread above the planet. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a weapon. It was Oblivion's present, distorting gravity, light, sound. Everything. Ships tried to fire. Nothing left their barrels. Time slowed. Matter warped. Then, within 19 seconds, all Council fleets lost power. Their hulls rusted in real time. Their engines dissolved. They didn't explode. They simply aged 1,000 years. Instantly. Inside the Council tower, the last surviving councillors gathered in a panic. They activated their emergency warp, but Oblivion was already there. He didn't walk, he didn't talk. He just appeared at the center of the chamber. The marble floor cracked under his boots. The walls began to peel like paper. Councillor Uric fell to his knees. Please, we didn't know. Oblivion looked at him for the first time. He spoke, a calm, tired voice. You knew, you watched, you voted, and now it ends. He lifted a single hand. The room imploded quietly, cleanly. The end of the Council that day. The Galactic Council was erased, not destroyed by war, but surgically removed, like a failed organ from a living galaxy. No explosions, no blood, just silence and absence. Millions of worlds woke up the next morning, leaderless, but the stars were still there, and Earth remained quiet. Earth sends its final transmission 2 days later. Earth sent one last message to every species, every world, every listening mind. A voice, no name, no title, just truth. We did not want war, we asked for peace. You burned our colonies. You erased our allies. And when we asked for justice, you laughed. The voice paused, so we reminded you. Earth is not a colony. Earth is not a council member. Earth is a death. A final line followed. We have returned your silence. Let that be the last word. Oblivion disappears after the mission. Oblivion didn't return to Earth. He vanished beyond the rim toward the dead systems where stars don't shine. Some believe he shut himself down. Some say he waits for the next betrayal, but no one truly knows. Only one warning remains. If the Terrans stop speaking, start digging your own grave. Epilogue. The new galaxy 6 months later. A new galactic order formed, not by vote, not by treaty, but by fear and respect. The Valoran homeworld was rebuilt first by Terran engineers, Earth accepted no throne, no empire, no reward. They simply watched and everyone else listened, because the galaxy finally understood Deathworlders don't need armies, they only need names.